Welcome to the Reawakening Ancient Feminine Wisdom in Pregnancy, Birth, and Motherhood Summit. I'm your host, Nancy Lucina, and today we have with us Whapio the Matrona. Whapio has been an independent midwife for over 30 years, attending women and families in birth and educating women in the arts of midwifery and healing. She has also studied homeopathy and Qigong for over 20 years. She also serves as a community mediator and counselor for family concerns. She speaks and writes frequently about quantum midwifery and returning birth to the family. The Matrona programs created by Whapio serve to share and expand this knowledge of life and consciousness. This conversation with Whapio had me in tears. She shares so beautifully about the holistic stages of birth and the different altered states of consciousness that are available to laboring women when they truly can birth undisturbed. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today we have with us Whapio from thematrona.com. Welcome and thank you so much for joining me today. I am just so in awe of the way in which you talk about the consciousness of birth, and how the brain waves change during the birth process. This is something that I definitely experienced in my own birth, and I didn't read about it beforehand, and I actually read a fair amount before I gave birth. And I remember at one point in my labor, literally the paintings were melting off of the walls. I was just in full on kind of psychedelic space. And that was actually the part that I got scared about, because I remember feeling, oh, wow, what is actually happening? Nobody really told me about this. So when I discovered your work and I read about how you describe the holistic stages of birth, you talk about consciousness and you talk about how the brain waves change and what this means for the woman and for everyone around her too. So I just basically have that one question for you today. Can you share with us your view of the stages of birth and how it differs also from the way in which it's normally talked about?
Well, sure, I would love to talk about that. And for me, as a beginning, I would like to give credit to the women who really have taught me pretty much everything I know about birth. I mean, when I decided to become a midwife after my own birth, my first birth, I read every book I could get my hands on, and I had a midwife who was, apprenticed me. And and I did that for 3 years, but my real apprenticeship started when I left from the midwife that apprenticed me and started working with women and sat at the feet of women. And some of the first women that I ever worked with were having large families. All right. So what do you, who's had 2 births, tell a woman who's now having her 8th child? You don't. You don't. You sit as and you learn about birth in a very authentic, organic way that impinges on a whole other consciousness of birth, you see? So it's really women sitting at the feet of women who showed me, all right? And basically, I feel very grateful that I had the grace to sit and listen and put away the books for a while and the voices of my illustrious teachers and listen to women and families. So a shout out to the women, all right?
I'm already getting emotional just hearing you say all of that. Thank you.
So, women taught me, I had 2 births. I gave birth twice before I embarked on midwifery and working with other women. So I knew what birth was about, and I knew how I wanted to attend birth. And I knew that as a conscious individual, I wanted a midwife and a caregiver who would raise the consciousness of birth for me, okay? And be someone who could allow birth to be something that it isn't in our culture. All right. We don't give a lot of credibility to the psychological and spiritual and, as I say, conscious aspects of birth. And that's what I wanted to do. And that's what I wanted in a midwife. So I hoped that I became the midwife that I wanted to be. All right. So some years ago, I realized that we were using the very same old kind of tired language about birth to describe birth. And it was very clinical, it was rather medical, all right? And I felt like, how are we going to change our attitude and our consciousness about birth if we don't change the language, all right? If we don't find some language that befits what is really happening here, which is basically a journey of transformation, all right, rather than the expulsion of the contents of the uterus, okay?
Right.
So I decided that I would like to do that since no one else was doing it. So I came out with something called the holistic stages of labor in a bid to reframe labor and birth, really, in a more conscious way. And so what I've seen as I've been a midwife for all these years is that those practical stages of labor that we use, first stage, second, third, and the vocabulary there, it's very practical. It's useful, all right? I'm not going to get rid of it, but I'm going to add to it something more, all right? And so what I've done is taken things like the idea of pre-labor and talked about it's a stage of really embarking. All right. A woman has decided to take a journey of transformation, to start a family, to bring a child, earth side. This is a journey, all right, of transformation. And at first she embarks, all right, and we all embark in very different ways. We some of us embark, we board the dog and reupholster the couch because everything will be different, and some women just leave with a toothbrush or something,
right?
So I talk about embarking, all right, and then I've added something to our labor that we don't have in the practical model, but I see it in this more conscious model, holistic model, and that is that there's a veil that a woman crosses, all right? There's an early stage of labor. I agree. We call that in our practical model latent labor. And I understand that. And it's often a time when I kind of call it the foothills, when you're not really on the mountain yet. You're in the foothills, and it's kind of exciting even, because you haven't really hit the slopes yet, and you're excited about going on this journey. And then there's a point where the foothills yield to the mountain, all right, to the slopes of the mountain. And I call this the veil. And I call it that because I see that women often make a commitment here. There's a commitment. I feel like in this journey of transformation, we have little commitments along the way, committing to more and more and more. And so this part about the veil, I feel, is a woman saying, okay, I'm going to take on the mountain now. I'm going. I'm out of the foothills. I'm ready to begin the real journey of becoming a mother, all right, or becoming a mother again, or becoming a mother for this child.
Right.
The veil is such a wondrous place in labor, all right, because when you're there with a woman and you're witnessing her journey, all right, and let me talk a minute about the whole idea of witnessing. I feel that as a midwife, my job is certainly not to ferret out complications or find out what's wrong with the woman and fix it or anything. I feel like my job is to witness her transformation. Really, that's why I'm there.
Yeah.
And things come up, and she finds her way. All right.
Yeah.
And things, they arise and they leave. And I'm here to just witness that process with her. And So part of the witnessing is witnessing that crossing over of the veil, witnessing her commitment to, from the easy part, the foothills, to really being on the mountain, making that commitment. And I see that women dance with the veil sometimes. Sometimes a woman thinks she's ready to take on that journey, and then all of a sudden she looks around at her assemblage, and she's like, well, let me just go around for one more dance, okay? And does anybody get any more lemonade here before I take off? And it's just very precious to be able to witness a woman in how she actually engages, all right, that decision to be committed to her birth experience. And so then I see a woman, she just she's on the mountain now, and this is the part of the labor that we look at as the hard part. You know what I'm saying? The contractions, the dilation, and the part where it gets longer and stronger and more intense. And if we use the metaphor of a mountain, you can understand. Yes, the terrain gets steeper. It is a climb, and the air becomes more rarefied, and sometimes you get tired and you wonder, am I going to make it? And why did I do this in the first place? And
absolutely.
Nice to have, once again, a witness.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Not someone who is going to carry you up the mountain.
Yes.
All right. You as a doula, I'm sure, come across this where it could be so tempting to just pick her up and carry her up the mountain, for heaven's sake.
Right.
And just look at me and breathe like I'm showing you, and do this and do that, and let me fix you and let me help you. And I've realized that that's really not what women are looking for. Even if a woman tells you, yes, where's my ride? Carry me up the mountain. Okay.
Yep.
A woman is really wanting this transformation.
Yeah.
I'll let you as a doula realize now that that there are many women for whom birth is not just an ordeal that they need to get through. Many women are coming and showing up for the transformational part, right? And
absolutely.
You see, and they want something more than pain relief. They want someone, I think, to witness this journey, not do it for them, or through them, or to them,
right?
But really witness that this is going to be one of the most transformative experiences in my life.
Yep.
All right. I want to do it. I want you to witness me, but I want to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I always keep that in mind when a woman is on that slope, right? And the terrain gets rough, and she calls out, or she flails. Sometimes she just flails, and so what we do, we just wrap her up, okay, until she finds the center, and then we unwrap her. Okay, we don't really carry women up the mountain. All right, and what I see then as labor, and birth, this is a journey of birth, really, as this journey progresses, that she's getting closer to the top. I mean, she's getting, where, practically speaking, she's dilating and effacing, and it's becoming more intense, and she's becoming more open and more open. And we also have to realize that this is probably the most open that you will ever be. All right. Yes. If you give birth once only, you only open this passageway one time in your life. I mean, this is a very noteworthy and almost heroic time for you to open that.
And you're open on all the levels too. It's not just physically, like you're saying. It is all the levels, all the layers, beyond really what we can comprehend.
Absolutely. And I feel that that mentioning that, I feel like that's the part that isn't always taken into consideration.
Yes, I agree.
The way we approach birth today.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
We're all about what your cervix is doing. We're not really about what your psyche is doing. All
Right.
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 And that's where those brainwave states come in that we talk about. Let me digress for a minute and just talk about the fact that anyone who sits with women in birth for any amount of time realizes that birth, in fact, the entire childbirth continuum, including pregnancy and postpartum,
Mm-hmm.
does not unfold in ordinary reality. There are different states of consciousness that a woman has access to when she's pregnant
Yes.
and when she's birthing. And this is so informative, really. All right. If we realize that a woman in labor is going into a deeper, slower brainwave state,
Mm-hmm.
we call it beta, alpha, theta, and delta. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty of material out there that you can read on different brainwave states. But what you'll see is that a woman goes, as she's climbing that mountain, from ordinary reality to a more sensual consciousness, to finally a deeper consciousness, to finally the consciousness of what we call delta, deep delta, where you just know that entering that woman's field in the moment would be sacrilege.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He
Mm-hmm.
is so deep and so in her process, and we have no idea what she is communicating, what her levels of communication are, unless, of course, we go there with her.
Right. Right.
So the call is to recognize that birth occurs and unfolds, transformation unfolds outside your comfort zone. It does. Now think about it. The truly transformative times that we've had have been at the very edge of or outside our comfort zone.
Absolutely.
And that's fine, because it's outside our comfort zone that we find a different consciousness.
Yep.
And what does that consciousness offer? An expanded perspective.
Yes.
You see the bigger picture. You understand. You know things rather than thinking or even feeling. You're in the realm now of knowing. A mother knows what's going on in her labor. Unless we somehow interfere with that and try to bring her back into ordinary reality. You see?
Yes.
So this right here, if we could get this piece connected, that women are not in ordinary reality, and yet the caregiver often is.
Yeah,
right?
I know. That's the thing. I know. And especially in the hospital setting, which I've worked in a fair amount, there's someone coming in, changing shifts, and like, hello, my name is, nice to meet you. I'm like, no, please. She doesn't need to even, no, please. And it activates the part of the brain that we don't want to activate. This is such powerful information that you're sharing. Absolutely.
Well, and it's all about understanding the level of consciousness that a woman is in and matching your vibration to hers.
Yes.
Right? Too often we see the opposite. We see a caregiver coming in, well-meaning, of course.
Sure.
And wanting then for a woman to become more ordinary, more normalized, okay? Back out of her altered state, if you will, into ordinary reality, where a woman is then going to be dependent on her caregiver.
Yeah.
Because she's lost that realm where her perspective is widened. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And so that's why I think this is so important. And I think as doulas and midwives and caregivers, it would behoove us to sit back and watch this journey of birth unfold. The less you do, the more you'll learn about what is truly organic and authentic. And this might be a really good time also for me to talk about instincts. All right.
Yes.
I love to, I like to ask people in classes, for instance. So, do all women have instinctual responses to their birth?
Mm-hmm.
And I see that it's a bit, I get, some people get very like, Some people are like, no. Some people are like, of course.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we have all different attitudes and perspectives on whether a woman has an instinctual response to everything that's going on in her birth.
Mm-hmm.
And my answer is, of course she does.
Yeah.
Of course she does. And the hesitation is that sometimes we see women who are not able to access that instinctual response.
Yeah.
See? It's there. We have instinctual responses to everything. Does her partner have an instinctual response to everything that's going on in this labor?
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Partner doesn't have to have read a book or know a thing about birth, but certainly has instinctual responses to what's going on here. This is good. This is weird. This is awkward. She doesn't want that.
Right.
This is perfect.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
And so does a woman.
Yeah.
So what I feel we really want to do is, especially as a birthing caregiver, is facilitate a woman to be able to flow with her instinctual responses rather than manage her or command her, as it were, to do other things like look at me or breathe this way or get in this position or lie down over here. You see what I'm saying? Because oftentimes those things are well-meaning, but they're not the instinctual response that the woman would have had to this situation.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So, to me, what I realized is that many women really appreciated undisturbed birth. In other words, being not left alone, not abandoned birth or anything, not disturbed in their birth.
Right.
All right? Someone would witness them and facilitate their wishes and their responses to their labor. All right? And so that's this is where this comes from too, this whole reorganizing of birth. All right, the holistic stages, a whole new approach, a different way to look at it, is based on not disturbing a birth and trusting a woman's instinctual responses to everything that's happening and facilitating that.
Now, what if a woman, can I ask just one quick question there for you? What if a woman gets into that space where she's, like you kind of said, I want to be carried up the mountain. And she's like, oh, I want something. I need something. Oh, maybe I should just go into the hospital if she's at home, for example, or if she's already at the hospital, maybe I should just go for that epidural. But you as her doula, for example, know that she really didn't want that. How would you say to get in there, or would you get in there in your perspective, in your opinion, to maybe refocus her on what she originally wanted? Or do you simply observe?
No, because my work is to facilitate, not just facilitate.
Yeah.
All right. So when I hear a woman saying something like, "I can't do this anymore."
I
can't do this anymore. We need to go in. We need to do this. I can't do this anymore.
Yep.
To me, the operative word is this. I can't do this anymore. So let's do something else.
Right.
Do something else. Let's do the opposite of what you're doing. And if you're lying in bed and you're, just trying to deal with things, let's get up and open the curtains. Let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
And if you've been walking and I can't do this anymore, then I'm going to put you in the tub, or let's get in the shower, or let's do something else. Let's go to Wendy's and get a softie. I mean, let's do something. Frosty, I mean, we really, I've done that. We've gotten in the car and gone to a drive-through. Why? Because she couldn't do that anymore, what she was doing. All right. So if we don't have something else besides pain medication, right, or going in, then that's the only option a woman thinks about. All right, well, no, I need to go in. No, we don't. We'll go to Wendy's instead. All right, or we'll drive down a country road,
right,
or we'll go visit your sister who just had a baby, or we will go to sleep now for a while.
Yeah.
Let's just rest and go to sleep. Can that happen in the middle of a labor? I'll take a woman into her bedroom, shoo everyone away, close the curtains, lie down on the floor, put her partner next to her, and her labor quiets down. All right? I feel like the operative word is this. She really can't do this anymore. So we're going to do something else.
Switch up the energy. Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
And oftentimes that refocuses on the either get the pain medications or this. That's not her only choice.
True.
Right?
True.
That's not her own choice, you see? But if she thinks it is, well, she can't do this anymore, so she's going to have to do that. Make sense?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you for that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So now okay. I feel like one of the things that people do ask a lot is your question. What do you do when a woman is in intractable pain, right? And so we refocus on something else. All right. I also feel that that when women aren't disturbed, you'll see that there is a natural mechanism for handling pain. Okay. There is. Your body was never meant to confuse or confound you. All right. Sometimes pain occurs, and most women understand that there's going to be some pain. All right. This is not a shock. Okay.
Right.
Oh, there's pain. All right. So we do have hormones and brainwave states that can actually alleviate the pain in the sense. Now, here we go. When you go from ordinary reality into deeper states of reality and your brain slows down, all right? What also happens is you actually refocus. And I'm not going to say that the pain goes away, but I'm going to tell you, when you go into deeper states of reality, the pain becomes irrelevant.
Yeah, that's a good word. Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not you focus on. And I'm not saying, oh, it's just irrelevant, you don't even feel it. But in many ways, you don't. It's not what you focus on. You focus on something else that is pulling you closer and closer to, honestly, a transformative experience.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
All right. So I tell women that so that they know that if they're not disturbed, it's much more easy to find that deeper place. And I find that what a doula can do is hold that space for her.
Yeah.
Because in hospital birth, she's going to get interrupted.
Yeah.
She's going to get, refocused on other things, ordinary reality. You know where the pain is? The pain is in ordinary reality.
Oh, I love that.
Okay? That's where the pain is.
Yeah.
And we bring the person back to ordinary reality. We're bringing them back to face on the pain.
Right.
But you've probably seen this yourself, that you can be in pain, and if something else catches your attention, you forget about the pain for a minute. All right?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. So what we're talking about is going into different, deeper brainwave states, right, where the pain becomes irrelevant to a certain degree. And that's our job as caregivers, to help her maintain those deeper states. So if someone comes in and we have to do blood pressure and introductions and she's brought back to ordinary reality, you just hold that deeper space so that when it's over, she can look at you and go right back into it.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly. Oh, I love how you put everything into words that I feel somewhere deeper inside my being, because that's how I feel like I am as a doula. I'm a space holder. More than anything else, I am a space holder. So thank you for that. It's so affirmative. I love it.
Well, let me say something else then. I had a woman wrote to me, and she's an aspiring midwife and a mother. And she said, you know, Whapio, we don't lack midwives. We lack deeply connected women who
Mm,
can hold space and
mhm.
accompany and not interfere.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's our job, to be
Mm,
deeply connected women
yep.
who can
Yeah.
hold space and accompany and not interfere, not disturb. All
Yes.
right.
Mm,
And here's another place I feel like a labor gets disturbed a lot. And that is that point where, you know, you're almost at the top of the mountain.
mm-hmm.
Uh, it's intense. This last leg of the journey is going to be the most intense part of it. We're coming into transition here. Oftentimes a woman will say, this is where sometimes a woman is like, no, I'm canceling the journey now.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to go home. I'm not going to do this anymore. And this is the time when our heart goes out to her. This is when we really want to carry her up the hill
Mm,
because she's almost there. And
yes.
and um, and it's very intense right there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I have learned to be patient. That a woman will find her way.
Mm,
And you know what? You know what happens for a woman here? She makes an act of will. She
mm,
makes an act of will to move from here to the top of the mountain. All right.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I call this part the summoning because I have seen women need to summon every molecule of who they are. All right. Even the ones way over there. Okay. And just bring yourself into this solid
Mm,
core. All right. Every molecule of every body, every emotional molecule, every mental molecule, every spiritual molecule, every sexual molecule, me. And then from that place, all right, make an act of will. And
mm,
I feel like this is part of mother making, to
yes.
make an act of will.
Mm,
Sometimes in that labor, this is the first time a mother has ever even made an act of will. And do
mm-hmm.
you know what I mean by an act of will? It's not an affirmation,
No.
okay?
Yeah.
It's not a suggestion, okay? It's not an intention at all. It's an act of will. And when you make an act of will, you realize it happens. This is so different from an affirmation that I will get up that hill or that my labor will be smooth. And this is the act of will that you make. And
Mm,
as a mother, you will make acts of will during your motherhood. All right. You
yes.
will make those acts of will for the good of your child and your family. You
Yep.
will not go in the road. Okay. That is an act of will, and your child doesn't.
Right.
Okay. It's
Right.
vested. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't ever want to take that opportunity away from a woman to learn how to make an act of will.
Right.
This is really big. And this is oftentimes when a woman flails the most and asks for the pain medications
Mm-hmm.
and wants to throw in the towel. And this is when you really want to do something for her the most. But
Mm-hmm.
this is where he makes that act of will. Be patient. She will find her way. All
Mm.
right. And then she's at the top of the mountain. All right. She's there. And what happens when you get to the top of the mountain? Well, you certainly just don't run down the other side. No, you sit there and you receive. And
Mm,
you know, the more you go to birth, the more you will realize that when a woman is completely open like that, now you can't see it, but when she's completely open,
yep.
labor changes its course and it stops. It almost stops for a while there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I call this the quietude. All right. He is in the eye of the storm where there's safety, where there's sanctuary, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And in those 20, 30 minutes sometimes where the labor seems to just unhook, you'll sometimes see a woman getting very trancy, I call, very spaced out, she might even lean back and want to take a little nap or just kind of like, like I'm here.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we don't recognize this often. Sometimes what we do with this is hurry a woman up and say like, oh, you're stalling out. But no.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
such a authentic, organic place in the labor where the labor begins, it just quiets down.
Yeah.
It gives women an opportunity now to receive. It's not just for resting. It's not just, you're resting up. When you reach the top of the mountain, you're just not saying, I think I'll rest up for the way down.
Right.
Like, whoa, I can see
it in. Yeah.
everything. I can see it all now. Women tell me the most amazing things that happen to them at this peak in their labors. Women say, Whapio, I understood. I understood what this child is. I understood what my relationship with this child is going to be. I understood why this child has come. I mean, we lament that the child doesn't have an instruction book, right? Well, maybe that's it. Maybe that's when the instruction book is downloaded up there at the top of the mountain in the quietude. When a woman, all right, is at peace in the sanctuary. She's reached the temple, whatever you want to call it, okay? I mean, women say things to me like, Whapio, did you hear those eagles? I'm like, oh, that's what I was hearing. Those eagles flying and bringing you, messages.
Right.
Women tell me the most amazing things about what they know now because they've made that act of will and then they've entered the temple. All right, they've entered the sanctuary. And, it doesn't last that long. It's maybe a half hour. And some women just breeze right through it. And some women, it's an hour. It depends.
Yeah.
But then the next thing you know is that a woman is really going to become present again and realize that she's going to come down the mountain, that she's going to birth a baby.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And this is a wonderful and amazing time because you'll see a woman. She'll come out of that quietude. Her eyes will get really big. She looks like she's electrified now. She'll get up. All right, she's been resting, maybe trancing out, maybe even taking a little nap, and she's like, I'm back. All right, I'm coming down. All right, I've got a baby here. And what's happening now is that her baby, you see, the cervix and the lower uterine segment have completely disappeared. All right. And in that quietude, her baby's head has rotated, all right, to the anterior posterior so that now the baby can come forth down the birth canal. This was not possible before, all right, because of positioning and the cervix and everything. So now you have a baby. And this is interesting. The first gland that comes online in all of us when we were little embryos is right here at the top of our head. It's called the pineal gland. And it's a very small, tiny little gland, like a tiny, tiny baby pine cone. We call it pineal.
Yeah.
And we're not sure what this particular gland does for us, okay? We don't really know. We know that we're not sure what hormones it gives us. We know that it gives us some really like melatonin hormone, the hormone of the dream state. That's which is an altered state. We know that this gland has something to do with altered states of consciousness.
Right.
And so when a baby is being born, you know that little fontanelle they have, that little, I call it the little diamond-shaped window? That's where your pineal gland is. So when a baby is coming now, a mother gets back up, and what's happening is she is galvanized. Her baby's going to come, and now she feels the baby kind of extending and moving down, and the baby's little pineal gland is leading the way. This gland on the top of our head is the first gland to see the light of day, unless you're born breech. Okay?
Right.
That guides the baby out. All right? This little gland here, searching for the light of day. All right, coming out of the woman's body. And I feel this way. I feel that we assume that women need guidance in birthing their babies, and I think there's a misunderstanding here. I like to also ask, can a woman birth a baby on her own? And my answer is, well, of course. What would it say about us as a species if we couldn't?
Right.
Every other mammal can birth alone. All right. Most of okay. Now we choose to have people witness us and facilitate. But truly, we are very capable of birthing our babies. All right. Women are not cupcakes. They are not little balls of dough with sprinkles of cherries on their heads. Women are wise and capable. All right. And intuitive and running on instinct. All right. And so what I have noticed is at this point, I'm very much at the service of a woman, because I know that when that baby is coming down, all right, and moving through her body, and she's aware of this, and she's in a whole new realm of labor, and she's not in that very passive realm anymore of waiting for her cervix to dilate and just climbing the mountain. I mean, she's coming down. She's taking some air, okay?
Yeah.
Labor is often very proactive and very exciting and very engaging for a woman, okay?
Yeah.
She doesn't really need me here. She really doesn't. So I kind of just follow her around and see what I can do to facilitate where she wants to be and what she might need. I will watch her. Now, I realize that I'm coming from the realm of a home birth, and many women give their baby birth in hospitals, but there's absolutely no reason why women need to be confined to their beds. There really isn't. In many other countries, both Western countries and third world countries, women are out of their beds while they're birthing. Okay, and even in hospitals. All right, so so what I will see is a woman look for her space, okay? She knows she's bringing a baby down. She knows that something, it's happening. I see a woman be very much in control of her birth right here, okay? I see that, and it's not like, oh, I'm in control in an ordinary reality, beta way. You see what I mean? Give me that blanket. Put that over there. It's just that she knows everything that's going on. She's alert. She's aware. She has a adrenaline coming through now, right? Because she is going to land a baby. And this is where I would never, ever be at cross purposes with her instincts, okay? She is hormonally full. She has gone into these altered states. Her perspective is blown wide open. She's running on instinct. I'm just here to facilitate that. I would never tell a woman, oh, well, you need to get on your back, or you need to get on your knees. You need to lie down, or anything like that. That would be so counterproductive in that sense. And so what I see is that women, they know the baby's coming. All right. They want to find their spot. And most women do not find their spot in a bed. Most women don't squat when the baby's coming. Most women that I see get on one knee.
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a squat on one knee and get kind of hunker down a little bit,
Yeah.
because it's such a powerful position, yet it's also solid. It's an amazing position to give birth in. Why? Because you're aware, you're up, you're in your power here, and here comes your baby, and you're solid, and you're down on the earth also, as it were. And your baby's not going to fall out. Okay, so I see women take this position without ever being like, oh, I think I'll get in a kneeling position. Give birth. Right. It seems so organic, because most women probably can't imagine that they would give birth in that position. Even you know? They think about squatting or hands and knees or laying on the bed or something. But when women are just running on instinct, this is what you see. And when she knows that the baby is coming, all right, she knows that she's brought her baby down. It's not ready. The baby's not ready to be born yet, but birth is imminent. It's coming. Yeah. She will get down on one knee, and then she will make her invitation. Now, this is what I have seen over the years, because most of the women that I worked with had partners, all right, dads, if you will. Most women had a father of the baby. And at this point, a woman will make the invitation to her partner to come over, to come close, because it's time now. You know, when I learned the Spanish phrase for giving birth, it's dar a luz.
Yeah.
And what it means is to give the light.
I love that so much. Yeah.
And I realized that I am not the designated person to receive the light. I didn't put the light in there. I am not going to create a family with this woman. And that it's not my place or privilege, really, to receive the light. If a woman is giving the light, who should receive it? Well, whoever she designates. And most designate their partner.
Yeah.
Most women want their partner to receive the light. So in the latter years of my practice, I was never in a woman's birthing field when she gave birth. I didn't catch babies. It was not my privilege. She chose her partner to catch the baby, and she chose to put me like right over here where I can see you, and you can see me, and you can see everything that's going on. Yeah. Okay. But you don't need to be in my field.
Right.
It wasn't. And what I would see is this. I would see that when birth was imminent and she called her partner over, and her partner, she kind of knelt there on one knee, and there was her partner in front of her. I saw at this moment, I'm witnessing now the creation of family. I'm witnessing a woman give birth, but I'm also witnessing the creation of family, because I see that she is giving the light to her partner, and that they are going to continue to give that light back and forth over and over again, infinitely, for the good of this child and their family. So here's what I see. I see that the partner kind of shows up there at her invitation, and all of a sudden he becomes the archangel. I see the wings come out, right? Okay, and the father is like, "You've got this. Okay, I've got you. I've got this baby. I've got us." Okay, and it is one of the most beautiful things it's in the world to see the creation of family. All right, I am witnessing this. This is what I'm talking about when we talk about the consciousness of birth. This is how we change the earth through birth, through returning the birth to the family, to the rightful owners, if you will, of birth, giving and receiving the light. And so a woman then, she'll bring her baby forth. Okay, I don't see women usually looking at their babies. They are in this completely transfigured, altered state, okay? They'll birth their babies. They know that their partner is there to catch that baby, to receive that light, okay? So they are completely liberated to birth in the most transformative way, all right? And the baby is born, all right? The dad catches, sometimes the mom will just be like this, and then the dads, without anyone ever telling them, partners seem to just know to put the baby down. They put the baby down between them, all right? And I don't see mothers pick up their babies right away. Organically speaking, I just don't. And initially that was disturbing to me or confusing to me, because I thought, well, why isn't she picking up her baby? Should I go over there?
Right.
And then I realized, no, that's wrong. Okay. Once I did, I went over and I picked up a woman's baby and gave it to her. And then I realized, what have I done? What have I done? I mean, all of it's well-meaning. I wasn't trying to control her or to do anything. But the point is, I picked up her baby. That's not my privilege. All right? And because here's what's happening. There's this moment in time. I would say it's about 4 or 5 minutes before a woman is very much in her transformation, and then gradually you'll see her come back. You'll see molecular changes happening. All right? And you see the baby is lying there between them. And you know that this baby doesn't need anything. Why? Because this baby was just born and just got a bolus of oxygenated glucose-rich blood. What else could you possibly do for a baby? Okay? Right. Nothing. And these babies, they breathe, all right? And then the placenta begins to download the blood, and they change over from fetal to neonatal circulation in those 5 minutes. You see, we don't really need to do anything to babies except maybe leave them alone and let them do this between their parents, okay? There's no safer place to be for them, you see, between their mother and their father partner, okay? So after about 5 minutes then, when physiologically speaking, these babies have their blood, and they're now breathing, and they're changing over to neonatal circulation, you'll see a mother kind of be like, and she'll come back and she'll look at her baby, and then she'll pick up her baby. And this is a moment of truth. This is a moment in which a woman comes into reality, sees a baby, sees their child, and picks up this baby and claims this baby. A lifelong relationship, no matter how it looks, claims that baby. You see, this is why it's not my privilege to pick up another woman's baby and give it to her. That ship has sailed. We don't do that anymore. I mean, we do.
Right.
But consciousness dictates that we don't do that anymore.
Right.
Because who is watching now? It's the partner who's watching this woman pick up their child. You see? And then she looks at the partner and says, "You're in, right?" And the partner is crying, right? Because the partner has never seen anything this amazing. And yes, the partner is like, "Yes, I claim you."
Yeah.
We claim each other as family. You pick up our baby. I watch you do that. I watch you claim our baby. I claim you. And this is a lifelong relationship of family, no matter how it looks. And then, you know what happens? She looks at me like, "You got that, right?"
The witness.
I'm the witness.
Yeah.
This is the consciousness of birth, this creation of family between 3 people, that people are invited to witness, but people are not necessarily invited to make this happen, to interfere with this, to bring anything else to it. What could you possibly bring to it? You see?
Yeah.
What happens instead is that we interrupt
Right.
the partner claiming his child or her child, whatever relationship you're in, you see?
Right. Right.
This is what, if I were going to preach,
Yeah.
this is what I would preach: the
Yeah.
creation of the
Yeah.
arcing,
Oh, I'm really
letting the
getting emotional. Oh, it's just so powerful. My prayer is really that so many people are able to receive this powerful wisdom. It's such a game changer, you know. It's just so, I'm so appreciative of you, and thank you. I'm just so touched right now hearing you talk about this. I think, yeah, my heart feels really full as well for those who haven't got to experience this, you know, this undisturbed way of birthing. So I just really, yeah, I feel very deep in prayer in this moment that this ripples out as much as it possibly can. So, yeah, wow.
well, it is the promise,
Yeah,
okay, of evolution.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I didn't have that birth. My husband was also, removed from his role of being able to catch the baby. And in one of my births, my baby was taken away, even at home. All right. So it's okay. I know that many of us haven't had that
Right,
experience.
right.
It's coming. Let us elevate it. Let us elevate it for women to step into, for families to step into.
Yes, yes.
In that sense. Yes.
I'm with you. Oh, I'm totally with you on that. Thank you so much. I think our hour is up here. That was so rich. I love your passion, your power, your wisdom. And I was saying before we hit record that I can't wait to study with you in person. I know that that's going to happen at some point in the not so distant future. I am making that happen. So, oh, yeah, thank you again from the bottom of my heart for spending this time with us. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, if you ever decided you want to do this again, I would love to talk about the authentic role of the partner.
Oh, okay.
Because
Yeah.
we haven't gotten there yet,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I believe that the partner is going to blow up in the sense that, oh, the partner is going to be a big deal now. Let's get the partners involved. Let's get the dad here. Let's get this here. Let's get that here. And I think part of the reason is because if we rob the partner of his or her authentic role,
Yep.
then we spend years with legions of social workers and therapists trying to reconnect something, all right, that didn't happen at birth because we were not conscious of letting promoting that.
Right.
I feel
absolutely.
I'd love to talk about the authentic father or partner, actually.
Okay.
No one else gets to designate that role for the partner either.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about that. And it goes in with creation of the family. So if we ever wanted to do this again, let me know.
I will absolutely take you up on that. That is such an important topic. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you so much for having me. I'm totally honored.
Oh,
Everything you said.
you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, until the next time.
All right.
Bye.
See you soon.
Take care.
Bye.